In light of recent events, gun owners' rights and gun laws have become topics of high interest. The media is full of stories of violent crimes, which leads to political figures debating whether or not more controls should be enacted in order to keep the guns out of criminals' hands. However, I believe this debate may come down to a very simple premise that has been around for over 2 centuries. The Founding Fathers included in the Bill of Rights the Second Amendment, which outlines the right to bear arms. James Madison once said, "The Constitution preserves the advantage of being armed, which Americans possess over the people of almost every other nation, where the governments are afraid to trust the people with arms." While this debate has primarily occurred on the national level, students are starting to speak out, causing some states to face these issues head-on. Campus carry has been implemented in 11 states, including Georgia, across the U.S. However, restrictions still apply. Campus carry is about the right of U.S. citizens to protect themselves on college campuses. Protection from all enemies, foreign and domestic, is the top reason our Founding Fathers included this Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. In addition to bearing arms being a right guaranteed to us as American citizens, it's also becoming a need to be armed as America has the most reported crime rates. In this increasingly dangerous society, the ability to protect oneself is more important than ever. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, there were 27,000 crimes reported in the year 2014 on college campuses. This includes 13,500 burglaries, 6,700 forcible sex offenses, and 2,100 aggravated assaults. How can we, as young adults on college campuses, protect ourselves from these crimes? Just this year, a student was robbed in the parking deck on KSU's campus by 2 armed men. Another incident stated that a KSU student was robbed near his on-campus housing while he took out the garbage. While neither of these cases resulted in violence to the victim, the perpetrators were armed and the victims could have easily been injured or killed. Students with a carry permit should be allowed to carry on campus because they are publicly funded and therefore a public place. According to the Second Amendment, that student should have the right to protect themselves. It seems contradictory that a law-abiding 21-year-old college student with a carry permit in Georgia is allowed to carry a concealed handgun in public places such as gas stations, grocery stores, and the mall. But if the state does not allow campus carry, this same law-abiding student becomes a criminal once he steps foot on his school campus. This is because he is no longer protected by the Second Amendment. Along these same lines, a Georgia citizen, with or without a permit, is allowed to keep a firearm in their home. Many college students live on campus, yet they are not allowed to have a firearm in their home. To sum up, the Second Amendment provides law-abiding citizens the right to carry a weapon to protect themselves, which they can do in most places, except one of the places citizens are the most vulnerable, their college campus. Criminals know that some people may be carrying off campus, which could be a deterrent to them committing a crime. However, schools, churches, and the like are typically considered soft targets due to the fact that almost no one there is armed. But it gets potentially worse. Lunatics bent on mass shooting also know these are soft targets. So what do you do when the unthinkable happens? Gunshots ring out across your campus. There is a shooter loose in your school. Your home is the target. You are now a part of history, a part that America is all too familiar with. On December 14, 2012, Sandy Hook Elementary School was attacked and 20 children and 6 adults were killed. Adam Lanza killed his mother and then headed to the school to take 26 more lives. He later killed himself. On April 20, 1999, 2 boys decided to open fire on the innocent students and staff of Columbine High School. Including the 2 killers, who later committed suicide, 15 people lost their lives inside Columbine High School that day. The families of the students who were killed and the remaining students were greatly affected by this traumatic event. According to ABC News, there have been around 270 school shootings and 141 deaths since Columbine. USA Today reports that in the last half-century, 8 of the deadliest mass shootings have occurred on college campuses, and in turn, 84 lives have been tragically lost. The Virginia Tech massacre is a perfect example. 32 people were killed on April 16, 2007, when a 23-year-old male opened fire on the college and its innocent students and staff. I believe that students and staff, after completing thorough background checks and training, should be allowed to carry guns on all campuses across the United States. I think that by arming the public, the threat of a mass shooting is reduced. If the potential mass shooter knows others are armed, will he be dissuaded from killing? Although not usually reported by the media, there have been multiple instances where an armed civilian has stopped the shooter and potentially saved dozens of lives. While gun rights and gun restrictions are a huge topic in our country right now, it really shouldn't be. The Second Amendment guarantees us the right to bear arms, just as the First Amendment gives us the right to free speech.